Hey y'all, Simply is Logical here, and welcome back to the channel. But either way, thank you all for joining me for today's video as we are touring the Prairie Ridge section in Shaded Pines Animal Haven. So if you're new to my channel, then you might have seen a couple of the videos on this zoo so far. This is episode 11, I believe, and we have plenty more to go. However, I am sorry that it's taken me so long to get the tour for this video out, or for this section out, because there's a couple reasons. One, I've been really busy the last couple months. Two, I was sick last week, and you could probably still kind of hear it in my voice just a little bit. And so I wasn't really feeling on recording last week. And three, my game has been crashing relatively frequently over the last 2 weeks, ever since we got the new update. So with all of that combined, it's taken me so long to get this section fully completed and flushed out for y'all to completely see everything. And although it's not 100% how I would like it, mainly the interior of the nocturnal houses, which is where we were just at in this cinematic, is not exactly how I want it, but it will get there. I am overall really happy and very proud of how this has come about. But anyways, enough talking. Let's get into the video. Okay, so we're going to start right here at the entrance. And as you can see, you do come up a hill. And if you haven't watched the very first episode, you should definitely go watch it. It is me completely building this minus the terrain work. I don't think I included any of that. But if you can't tell already, this entrance is very heavily based off of, mainly the incline of it is based off of Sparrow 838's True North Sanctuary that she completed a while back. But we're going to go into these front doors right here. We do have some ATM machines that are like self-service tickets if they choose to go this way, which most guests do. But if they want to talk to an actual person, they can come in here into our actual entrance building, where we have a gift shop for them to stop at right at the end, and then their tickets right over here. I do want to really quickly make the note that all the billboards that I have made for this zoo are not in the zoo currently, because I'm recording this on my husband's computer, and my husband's computer doesn't have those files. I just haven't put them on there. And so we're just gonna do this tour without those files, and I am sorry for that. But now you can see we are moving into the backstage portion. And again, all this is built direct from in the first episode. We'll go in here really quickly. It's nothing special, just the basic backstage stuff. A little bit of clutter inside, but not too much. And then we have this door here. I think this door actually leads into the quarantine. And then from there, you can go to our outdoor quarantine, which is currently set up for the coyotes, which we are getting in the next episode of this zoo, which those animals will start our very next section called Timberland Trail, which will start, I think, not probably 2 weeks or so from now. But anyways, let's go back to the main path. So here you can see we have our stroller checkout with another information booth. And then here we have a set of toilets, male and female, but there are toilet blocks in there and everything. And over here we have our strollers. I did get these off the workshop. I will try to remember to leave the link to these down in the description below. So make sure you go and check those out. And then we start with our prairie dogs right here. And overall, I am very pleased with how this entire section so far has come out. You can see them right here. We have a whole bunch of these guys in here, it looks like. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. Man, that's a lot. But I am going to try and keep this tour relatively short because I don't have a lot of time for me to record today. But I do want to try and show y'all as much detail as possible. And then over here we move to our foxes. So this is the backstage building for the prairie dogs, which does actually connect. If we go in there, this does connect all the way down at the back into the backstage for the red foxes. And again, we have, and I can't remember, I think I made this fridge. I can't remember. Maybe I got it off the workshop. I don't know. I got this off the workshop. I did make these for Saguaro Sanctuary. If you haven't seen that zoo, make sure you go and give that zoo a check. But I made these for the nocturnal house in that zoo as well. And in here we just have our foxes. They have a little upstairs bed, I guess you could call it. They can go up there, but they don't. And then they also obviously have this down here, and their food is right there. And then they have a full interior. I don't know why I said that, but you can see they do have a nice little river. This was the biggest inspiration for this habitat, was this river right here. I wanted some sort of like ledge with a river running through it, so that way you could see them on the ledge or swimming in the river, either way. And I did actually make these, I call them cul-de-sacs because that's what they're called where I'm from. I don't know what y'all call them around the world, but that's what I call them. And so I did make those out of the metal pipe pieces, or zookeeper metal poles is what I made those out of. And then you can see they have the one burrow right here. And then they have another one up on that hill back there. And again, I'm trying really hard with this zoo specifically because it's supposed to be based in the Yukon forest of Alaska. And with it being in Alaska, I am trying very hard to give terraforming a try in this zoo more than I have in any of my other zoos. Oh. There we go. Okay. And then you can see there's another cul-de-sac over there. And the point of it is supposed to be like it cycles the water through. So it's supposed to be like natural spring water is my picture for this. And these are supposed to cycle the water through. It picks it up from the ground, cycles it through, and then just continuously, it's just like this continuous cycle. And you can see the little window right there in this log cabin. So this side, the guest facing side of this is a log cabin facade. The actual sides are just the aquatic stained wood though, but I wanted this part to be log cabin. And then you can come around this little loop right here and go and look at both the moose and the beaver's habitat, because they do live in a combined habitat. And for whatever reason, the beavers absolutely love using the moose's backstage building, although they technically shouldn't be, because they have their own backstage over here with an underwater viewing area for the guests. And if you go into this backstage, you can see I made this little door right here for the beavers backstage, and it's just this little ramp going up to their pool, because again, I hate terraforming, and I sure as heck was not going to make the guests walk down into see an underwater viewing, so I make the beavers go up. And then we'll go this way back out, and then we'll go check out the actual habitat, and then we will go into habitat. And again, all of these lock screens were supposed to be an actual sign. I reminded myself to make sure that they were actual signs before I started recording this, and as you can see, that did not happen. So I am sorry for that, but it's okay. And I also want to apologize if my voice sounds weird at all, because I'm not sick currently, but I still have a lingering cough, and it has definitely strained my voice just a little bit. Oh, our moose grew up. That was a baby like 5 minutes ago. I kid you not. When I was doing the cinematics right before this, that was a baby. So I literally just grew up, but we're just going to go in here. Let me get out of that group. There we go. And you can see the beavers do have their little beaver dam pool, and they do actually use it, and it does actually work. And then you kind of make the beaver dam, and then it resets. And I do kind of wish that they would continuously make the beaver dam, but it is what it is. And then I threw all of these logs around to act as the beavers are going around gathering the trees and coming back and tearing them up and adding them to their beaver dam. And then we do have a small little pond. Again, this is supposed to be like natural spring water, so I kind of colored it the best I could to match natural spring water, but at the same time, spring water is kind of all different colors depending on where you're from. And then this is supposed to be a bullpen, so during mating season or during rut or whatever, the bulls will be put in here so that way they can get used to the females without actually hurting the females in any way. And then once they are acclimated to each other, they will then be allowed to breed. But we're going to go ahead and go check out another habitat. So we're just going to continue along this path right here, and once we start the Timberland Trail, it will flush out this whole area back here, but that will be for another time. And then we're going to go in here, and this is our nocturnal house, is technically what it's called. I do have plans of changing its name to act as if we got funding for it from somebody who donated to the zoo. So, but we have the armadillos in here, and they have like 4 or 5, I think. They had several little babies, I think. Let's see. 1, 2, 3 babies, and then the mom. So, and the dad is currently in the trade center, I think. And then over on this side, we have our skunk and raccoons mixed habitat. I was originally planning on having 2 habitats, 1 for each of them, but I decided to just combine them because I figured it would be better. And less building, honestly, because when you combine habitats, it's a little bit easier, to be honest, and it kind of gives the habitat more to look at versus just one animal. That's why I think out of the 1, 2, 3, 5 habitats so far, 3 of them are mixed species habitats. And we'll take a quick peek around this side. I did add these hedgerows right here just to act as if the guests aren't really supposed to be looking from right there, because technically they're not, but they're guests and they're going to do what they want. And I gave them this little pool mainly for the raccoons because I think the raccoons themselves need water. But you can see we have loads of little bitty babies. And as you can see, again, this is supposed to be foliage, but that will all come at a later date. Because my game currently only allows me to play for about 10, 15 minutes or so at the most. And then it crashes, so. But recording this on my husband's computer, I don't really have to worry about crashing. It's mainly just on my computer or on my laptop. And then we have the bison and the pronghorn antelope habitat, which is the second habitat that we built after the prairie dogs. We have 3 bison and I think 3 or 4 pronghorn. I think it's supposed to be 3, but I think a couple of them might have grown. A couple of the babies might have grown up. Wait, is that? Hold up. I did not buy this. So we bred an albino pronghorn antelope. That's amazing. I've never seen an albino pronghorn antelope before, nor have I bred my own pronghorn albino animal in general, I don't think, without buying an albino. So from 2 non-albino parents, I haven't bred an albino yet. So this girl needs a special name. So make sure to leave your name suggestions down in the comments below for that one. We'll make sure to keep her around for a long time. And then we can go back and let's go into their habitat actually really quick. We'll come around this way. And again, I literally just got done doing all of this foliage today actually, and all of this will be gone. I have plans of doing a education center right here. So that's what that is for. But again, that will come at a later date. Okay. This backstage I am very proud of. We have these lockers I did get off of the workshop, but the fences and everything I made myself. So we have a whole bunch of cleaning tools, water hoses, some cork boards, another sink for them to make their food, and some storage. And I did actually add like the smoke effects to act as if these vents are working and like releasing air or whatever, like AC basically. And you can see on this side of all these stalls is the staff door. So this is the door that the staff would technically go in. The babies can come back in this area. Technically, they're not supposed to, but you know, it's Planet Zoo and you can't keep them from doing anything. I tried the elephant grass right here, but then the staff couldn't get through. So it was kind of a lose-lose situation there, but and all these stalls are the exact same. And again, these walls and stuff that I made, I might try to put them on the workshop. I'll just as long as I can remember, I'll put them on the workshop. And then they have this nice little deck view platform here. And then again, over here, we have another bullpen. So here again, during mating season or whatever, the bull would be put in here during that time to get used to the females and whatnot. And off season, he would be on his own. But and then we're going to go back to the front of the zoo. And that's really it for this section so far. Like I said, I'm pretty proud of how this has turned out so far. I am very excited to see where this goes and how this zoo continues to grow and how the story continues to grow. So make sure to leave, again, your name suggestions for that albino down below. And we will make sure to get her named and everything. But yeah, you can see here's the nocturnal house. Here's the moose and beaver habitat, bison and pronghorn, the red fox, and the prairie dog. And then our backstage quarantine. And I do still need to kind of do something with this area right here, but all that will come at a later date. And over there you can see my graveyard of all the things that I've made for this zoo so far. But anyways, that is all we have for this episode. I am sorry. I do think this was kind of short. It might be my normal. I'm not exactly sure. But again, make sure to leave your name suggestions for that albino pronghorn down below. We'll make sure to get her named and everything. And make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.